The secret of Devil's Slide. The wind howled across the jagged cliffs of Devil's Slide, where the wolf pack had gathered. Alaric, the group's seasoned leader, checked his pocket watch with a frown. Beside him, Beatrice adjusted her heavy wool cloak, looking out over the churning gray waters of the coast. They were waiting for the sage of the dunes, a man whose wisdom was as vast as the shifting sands, but the hour of their meeting had long since passed. Further down the ridge, Luca whistled for Nico, the group's sharp-eared dog. Nico's fur bristled as he sniffed the salt, heavy air, his tail stiffening. Luca gripped his hiking staff, sensing the dog's sudden unease. They had traveled miles to find the sage, following rumors of a missing car, a vehicle the color of a winter gale, known simply as white out. Suddenly, a flash of impossible color broke the muted tones of the coast. High on a crest of sand stood a figure draped in a coat of vibrant Kawasaki lemon green. The garment glowed with an unnatural brilliance against the brooding sky. Alaric pointed, his breath catching in his throat. The figure didn't wave or speak. He simply watched them, a silent sentinel in the neon shroud. "Nico, fetch!" Luca cried, but the dog was already bolting toward the crest. By the time Luca reached the spot where the figure had stood, the man was gone. He hadn't run into the trees or ducked behind the rocks. He had simply vanished. Luca knelt in the soft sand, his eyes widening in disbelief. There were no footprints. The surface of the dune was as smooth and undisturbed as a fresh canvas. Alaric and Nico led the way as they descended into the hollows of the dunes. The air grew cold, smelling of ancient salt and damp earth. Nico's paws moved rhythmically across the earth, his instincts guiding him towards something the humans couldn't see. Alaric kept a firm hand on his compass, but the needle spun aimlessly, caught in some unseen magnetic pull. "Look!" Beatrice shouted, kneeling near a cluster of sea holly. Scattered among the pebbles was a trail of rare blue beach glass, glowing like fallen stars. Luca joined her, picking up a shard that was perfectly smooth and translucent. It wasn't ordinary glass. It felt warm to the touch, humming with a faint, rhythmic vibration that matched the beating of their own hearts. Without warning, the sky turned a blinding, chalky ivory. A sudden snowstorm descended, but it wasn't the soft flakes of winter. It was a white out of terrifying intensity, the air turning thick and opaque, matching the rumored color of the sage's lost car. Alaric grabbed Beatrice's arm to keep from losing her in the swirling void, the world around them disappearing into a sea of white. Through the haze, Luca saw Nico barking at a half-buried object. He stumbled forward, shielding his eyes, and found a scrap of parchment pinned under a heavy stone. The paper was dry, despite the snow. As Luca pulled it free, the wind died down just enough for him to see the writing. It wasn't a map, but a single phrase written in elegant, looping script. The storm vanished as quickly as it had arrived, revealing a distant stone archway that hadn't been there before. Alaric and Beatrice stood at the edge of the dunes, looking toward the horizon. "La Porte," Alaric whispered. "The door." He realized the sage hadn't been lost at all. He had been summoned to a secret meeting in the land of the Great Gate, leaving the blue glass as a key for those meant to follow. As the wolf pack turned to begin the long journey toward the gate, a long, dark shape stretched across the sand, though the sun was directly behind them. Nico growled low in his throat, his eyes fixed on the shifting darkness. The sage of the dunes was gone, but his presence remained in the cooling air, a final mystery whispered by the wind. Only the shadow knows.